Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on this bell icon to get all the latest videos. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I have an amazing video for you guys, and today I'm going to talk about the latest generation Core i3, Core i5, Core i7 and all of those processors, and I will explain you everything about them, especially the 8th generation Core i5, 3 and 7 processor. So let's get started. So you have heard, if you have a simple idea or knowledge about processor, but especially in this video I'm going to talk about 8th generation processor and some difference between the previous generation and Core i5, 7 and 3, differences between them and what you should buy for your budget and for which section. So first talk about some technologies regarding the processor. The first one you should know about turbo boost technology. It is a technology on the Core i5 and Core i7 can have, not the Core i3. Core i3 does not have this feature because Core i3's base clock is better. Suppose its base clock is 3.7 GHz, but Core i5's base clock is suppose 2.8 GHz. So people may think that Core i3 is better than Core i5, but it is actually not the case here. You have to think more logically. Core i5 have the boost clock. It means that it can boost its performance regarding to its performance issue. Suppose you are using a demanding application or any demanding gaming or demanded video editing, suppose you need more performance from your processor, more juice from your processor. So in that case, turbo boost technology will help you in case of you buy Core i5 or 7 to go more than 4 GHz, suppose 4.1 GHz or 4.3 GHz, from 2.8 to 4 or higher GHz. So as you can see, nice bump in the performance of Core i5 and Core i7. That's why they have this turbo boost technology, which can make the best use of a processor regarding which situation in there. If they are using a normal task, they will use 2.8 GHz is more than enough. If they are using a high demanded application, they will increase the performance, go to 4 GHz or higher. So that's the main concept of turbo boost technology. Second technology you should know is hyper-threading, and all the Core i3, Core i5 and Core i7 have those kind of options. Hyper-threading means actually it is a virtual core. So one core is virtually added with two virtual core. Those two virtual cores are your thread. So one processor have two thread. So two processor or two core have 4 thread. So those threads are very important because when you are using a demandable application, you need more performance from your PC or your processor. So in that case, those virtual cores or the logical cores you can say, or the multi-threading technology you can say, can help you regarding those performance issue. So that's why we use those hyper-threading technology the processors use to increase their performance depending on the situation. But you have to understand that those virtual cores are not real cores. If your processor is 2 core, it will remain 2 core. If your processor is 4 core, it will be a 4 core. So let's talk about i3-8100, which is the first 8th generation Core i3 family processor, and it is the least powerful processor among all the processors that I'm going to talk about here. 8100 means 8 is the 8th generation. The first letter determines the 8th generation of a processor, and the more the powerful the processor is, the value will be the better. If the processor is suppose Core i3-8350, then it is more powerful than the 8100. You have to understand that seriously. So in case of 8100 processor, there is 4 cores which they increase their performance compared to the 7th generation Core i3 processor, which is only 2 core. But in 8th generation, they bumped up the performance, give 4 cores in Core i3 8th generation, and it is 4 core and 4 thread as well. And you have to understand that there is no turbo boost or any kind of boosting technology in Core i3 in 8100 processor, but you have only base clock on only 3.7 GHz, which is quite awesome. You have asked. As you can see, this is the least powerful processor, though, so the TDP will be less, only 65 watt. The TDP is the power consumption because it is the less powerful processor among all, and its cache is only 6 MB. Now let me tell you that one thing about cache. Cache is the small amount of fast storage memory. It is very small, 2 MB, 3 MB, 8 MB, 12 MB. Okay, but it is actually very fast. It is a very fast memory that acts very fast, and the more the cache in the processor, the more the better. It stands between the processor and the memory, and it transfers all the information from memory to processor. If your application, suppose you are using a video editing application or any Photoshop application, if the application is in cache, it will load much faster. But if the process is not in cache, it will not load faster. So the more the cache, the more the CPU can store information in the cache, and all of them can be transferred very quickly from cache to processor. It means that it will work more better, more faster if there is more cache, because it can handle more application, more process at the same time. So now let's talk about i3-8350, which is the better version compared to the 8100. And what is that? This is the first Core i3 generation processor that can be overclocked. And 8350K processor. K means it can be overclocked to a certain level, okay, depending upon, and you need a good motherboard that have the power to overclock your processor, and all of those should be combined. And as you know that it can be overclocked, means its power can be upgraded, boosted. So in that case, you have the TDP will be increased to 95 degrees Celsius or TDP 95 watt. So your TDP will be increased as well, because it will be more power hungry. But rest of the thing are same of 8100 versus 8350K. All those things are same, 4 core 4 threaded processor, but the main difference between them is the cache. One is 6 MB cache and one is 8 MB cache. This is the difference, because it is faster. And 8100 had only 3.6 GHz base clock and no overclocking technology there. But when you switch to 8350K overclocked processor or unlocked processor, you can have up to 4 GHz. So it will help you increase your performance of the total processor. Same thing goes for i5-8400. This is the base version of Core i5. There is an improved version. I will talk about it little bit later. Let's talk about i5-8400. Now what they did there, it is 6 core processor compared to the 4 core in the previous generation. So you can say that the Core i5 8th generation processor is equivalent to the Core i7 processor, which has 7th generation. So you can have a nice bump in the Core i5. And also Core i5 is cheaper than Core i7 in all the time. Now Core i5, the advantage is it's 6 core and 8 thread processor. So we are getting a nice performance boost. Also it has hyper threading technology as well, and as well boost technology. It means turbo boost technology. It means that it has a base clock, and when there is demanding work, it will go to the boost clock performance. So its base clock performance 2.8 GHz and max turbo frequency or the boosted frequency is 4 GHz. And if you want to know what kind of graphical performance it will give, it has Intel UHD 630 GPU inside of that. And let's talk about i5-8600K, which is a much expensive than the 8400, because it is a K version and you can upgrade its performance with overclocking. And obviously you need a good motherboard and Z370 series motherboard to overclock and boost its performance up to your demand. Okay, it also have 6 core and 8 thread, but its cache is bigger. Its cache is 9 MB cache, so cache is important. The Core i3 had 6 MB cache, but in Core i5 when you jump it, it will have more 8 MB cache. And it also have 3.6 base clock, and when you want to go boost, it will go up to 4.3 GHz. If you go to the Core i7, and the base form is 8700 non-K edition. It is also upgraded 6 core and 12 thread processor. So the difference between the Core i7 and the Core i5 8th generation, actually the main difference is the cache as well. It has 12 MB cache and its base clock, and its core is 6, which is the same, but it has the higher hyper threading technology compared to the 8 to 12. So 4 threads are better from Core i5 to Core i7. Not huge difference, but there is a difference between them. And if you go to the boost clock, it will go up to 4.60 GHz, which is a massive upgrade. So turbo boost technology is actually helping the processor to increase their performance to a lot higher than you can imagine. And obviously I told you that it is 12 MB cache. And if you go to the Core i7 8700K processor, which you can overclock using your motherboard or just tweak the voltage, the performance will increase. Also this is same as 6 core and 12 threads processor, as same as before, and also it has the same 12 MB cache as well, and the base clock is 3.70 GHz. And when you boost it, it will go to the 4.70 GHz depending upon the situation on what you are doing. So actually see that there is a Core i3 5 and 7 huge difference there, as well as their previous generation, because previous generation Core i3 has only 2 core, it has 4 core and 4 thread. And also the cache is also increased 6 MB cache. But when you go to the Core i5, it is 6 core and 8 thread, and the cache is around 8 MB cache, and you have the boost clock, base clock as well depending upon the situation. And if you go to the Core i7, same thing happened, 12 MB cache in every processor, and it is 6 core and 12 thread processor. So the difference between Core i5 and 7 is on the 4 thread is the difference. and you have a higher base clock, higher boost clock, all of them are there in Core i7. So I think you get a complete idea about Core i3, Core i5 and Core i7 and all the differences. So it's up to you whichever you use. If you are on a tight budget, you want to do some gaming and some little bit of video editing process and some graphical work, suppose Photoshop or any other things, or web browsing, you can use Core i3 8100. Very good processor, and especially the generation are really good. And especially if you are doing a budget gaming, it will be a huge upgrade compared to the previous generation. I strongly recommend that. If you want a more beefier processor which you need for special gaming or video rendering purpose or anything else, web surfing, everything, video editing, video render, Adobe After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro really awesomely, you can use Core i5 because it has more core and more threads. Because in Premiere Pro, After Effects, all those video rendering application and 3D application needs much more power in the processor. Because you need a higher core processor and higher multi-threaded processor, it will be much better. The more the cores and the more the hyper-threading there is, the more it is better for those particular video rendering software and editing software. And if you especially want your PC to do 4K editing and all those things, and video rendering, 3D graphics work and 3D Maya, all of those 3D rendering application, and also Adobe After Effects, you love After Effects and Premiere Pro a lot and you want to edit your videos in 4K and very smoothly, then you should use obviously Core i7, because especially there is no use for Core i7 unless you are playing a very intensive game like Assassin's Creed Origin, Battlefield 1 and Assassin's Creed, those type of game especially you need. But most of the case Core i3 and Core i5 are really good for gaming. There is no issues there. So if you want a very hardcore processor, you can go to the Core i7, and then if you want a very good decent processor and under budget, you can use Core i5 and Core i3, which is the best for your buck. So I hope you get a complete idea about Core i3, Core i5 and Core i7 8th generation processor. So thanks for watching guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.